Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. How goes it? Good thing this doesn't show my password, huh? Because I have it on my screen. I was using that to try to I had to log back into my restream, which apparently decided today was the day to, I don't know, check again, make sure I know what I'm doing, and then make sure I'm the guy who I say I am. Okay, solved. So, since Friday, I'd probably say Friday, I was running into some issues. Now, the latest assignment for my Azure course was this guy. No, actually, this guy. Enabling automatic updates in web applications using Signal R service. What this amounts to is the exercise is activating continuous integration with GitHub to your Azure website. And ultimately what it's going to do, or its purpose in life, is to kind of go through setting up your code, setting up your triggers. Once you have that all done, you kind of move through here. You're just setting up all the bits and pieces for this to work. And then you deploy it to GitHub. Now, what GitHub's supposed to do with this is build the project and then deploy it to Azure. So you're just kind of, it just kind of does it automatically as a result of the push. Okay. So you go through, you're setting up all this stuff. You have to set up these workflows. Now you set up a workflow, it has you walk through, you put in the right values into the workflow. And this is what the Microsoft Learn document is doing. This walks you through. And I went through this whole thing step by step, did the whole thing, put it all in, and bam, nothing. Didn't work. I mean, well, wasn't nothing. What I got was some significant failures along the way. As you can see, I finally got me a check mark, but you can also see I've done like 15 plus deployments on this thing, and most of them were just fails. So these are all the check-ins, and then there's the attempts at deployments. So mostly we get bad results. And I'm going to kind of go through a couple of these here. I don't even know what these ones are. Pull request, update, bump action. I don't know what those are. But let's go here. No, I don't know what all this is. This isn't my, it's not my stuff. Let's try to find mine. Did I actually take me to, oh, I took me to not mine. Let's go to my stuff. Oh, this was the samples I was using to, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Obviously. I was using this for clues, tests, that kind of thing. So this is my project that I'm working on. And we will go over to my, let's try this code again here. So you can see all these X's finally followed by a check mark. These were all of my meltdowns. Okay, so the very first thing I did was use deployment workload works to use package path. I'll kind of show you where this went and how ultimately I kept progressing, trying to find new ways. This was the document that actually went in. That is not the deployment. I know, I always click on the wrong part of the link to get this stuff working. So I have to go. All right, so this is what it did when it tried to log. So set up, log in, unzip, Azure login, v1, fails, service principal, not all values are present. So this one basically just broke because I had bad stuff. I had to have this tenant ID. So this is where I was kind of tripping up in trying to get client ID and tenant ID and all that running, because I kept going to Azure, and then Azure would like tell me I couldn't create a tenant ID, I couldn't create an intra account or whatever to have this stuff set up. And granted, I think it was I was going off in directions that there was a route around this, I believe, and I'll get to that later. But I couldn't figure it out because I kept running into things that looked like the free version of Azure, which is what I'm using, was not allowing me to create the necessary certificates and secrets and all the stuff that I needed. Simply, I got errors that said, this can't be done with the free version of Azure or whatever. So you need to have a paid version for this, that, or the other thing that I was attempting. Did a lot of Googling, a lot of searching around, could not find an example that actually tried to do what I'm doing exactly. And that was a big mislead for me, a big problem for me. Ultimately, I just kept going up the chain. So next steps were, I believe, as it went, for a bit there, I was really just failing. I mean, I wasn't really getting anywhere. Some of these check-ins didn't even, all I did was rerun them. And I'm trying to see if I can actually view the logs on all of these. See, this shows you, this will show me the actual update. So here we go. So we're going to go look at this deployment. So you can see it's slightly different. Starting download for Node app, unable to find artifacts for the associated workflow. Now, I actually created a couple of different things where my workflow file was wrong because I kept editing the workflow file, and unfortunately it's not showing the comparison build for this workflow file, but I tried a number of things. And besides, who wants this? You don't want to see all the wrong answers anyway. I mean, that's just misleading, right? As I moved on, I did eventually start getting to the point where I was able to start getting some triggers or some events to start happening. So you can see slightly different error, which is good, means things are happening. But again, it's got all the way down to the run Azure function action. But I was still getting invalid parameters and such. So I knew something was just up with what I had updated. But some of these I just reran too, because once I thought I had a fix, I would attempt to rerun it. And it was still the same errors going on. So I wasn't getting any real progress for a number of these tries, although, it wasn't for lack of attempts. Now this one kind of blew up on me pretty quick in a different state. The workflow file is invalid, so I think that one I just had an error. So we'll go to the last of my workflows there. Now, this is where things actually started to be a little bit more positive. I was getting into the code. My workflow file successfully parsed the credentials. That means I actually got in and connected to Azure. GitHub Action will not perform resource validation because I'm using this SCM credentials thing, whatever. When request Azure resources, this one didn't quite connect, as you can see. We still got some issues. This is where I found one particular fix, and I will show you what that is. In order to get this working, I had to go to, I believe it was authentication. So my code was connecting or creating, but it wasn't like being fully, thought it was an authentication. Add identity provider, add an identity provider. Where is the part I did? I thought that was where it was. Nope, that's not it. Where'd it go? I want to show you what I did to get this functioning. Identity. It wasn't certificate. I may have to track it down, but basically there's a value for allowing the SCM to work. And like I said, I could forward under authentication. but general settings. Ah, here it is. It's under configuration. It is an authentication related item, but it's under settings. Okay, so this scum basic auth publishing credentials. I had to flip this on. When I flipped that on, more progress happened. My workflow, as updated, finally started connecting. Still had problems, and I'll get to that one next. But it got there. We got more errors after we triggered, once we got past that. And then when I got past that, I started getting, I don't know, hopefully this will show you the error, because I may have, so that's funny, this one says 14 hours ago, but it was not 14 hours ago. See, this is one I ran just, I'm trying to see if there's a different time stamp on that one, because really I got it to rerun and it was not 14 hours ago. That's probably when I updated it. Unfortunately, I won't be able to show you the history of that one, because that's where things were going bad and I finally got it to work. And it's only because I rebuilt. I wanted to see if there was a way to see the previous runs of this, but it doesn't appear to be. This is one of the problems with doing a redeploy, I guess. Oh, here we go. Okay, so this is pretty much the last thing that happened. So you can see here that I got this error. It's not even an error, it's a warning. It says there's a web storage variable was not set. Web job storage or web job storage account name. I don't know. It just said warning, so I didn't know if that was going to be a problem. I thought, well, maybe I just need to fix that at some point. Went down here, I started getting these errors. This is the very end. You can see it looked like it actually got the package. It started processing the package, but once it got down here, it said, failed to use this package, the zip that we actually created. And I was like, okay. So I tried a couple things, nothing worked. Ultimately, I thought, you know what? Let's just eliminate this error if we can. So I went in and I created here under environment variables, I added the Azure Web Storage, Azure Web Job Storage. And basically all this is the connection string that you get from your web storage. So you can get that by simply going to your web storage account that you're using, clicking on here, and then going to your keys, access keys, and then just copying the connection string. That's this guy here. You can just click here and there should be, oh, I guess if you show the connection string, you can copy it. And then once you copy it, you just go back into your function app and you take that value over to your environment variables. Now keep in mind, I'm showing you stuff that for some reason doesn't seem to exist in the world because they've changed the Azure web page. And configuration is where you would normally set this. But if you go to configuration now, they keep changing, like I said, layouts. You go to configuration now and you attempt to do this, you're going to see this error. View, edit application settings and connection strings. Click here to go to environment variables menu. So they split it up. So the environment variables are now here. Now what was throwing me off is they have this thing for connection strings. Apparently that's not where you want to put this, even though it's a connection string variable. You can add it, it'll give it a name and the value. So you think, hey, that should be what you need, right? No. You're like, you're going to be over here, add it, add web jobs, Azure Web Job Storage, go in here, paste in your new connection string, and then hit apply. And when you come out, you're not done, don't just hit apply and call it good. You have to hit apply again to make sure that it gets saved. Because if you don't hit apply down here again, it won't save it, and then your thing will disappear. So keep that in mind. So once I had this in place, though, imagine that. Just getting rid of the warning, which was not technically an error, so I didn't think it was all that serious. Once I got rid of this warning, I was able to go back to here and run it again, and this time it ran through successfully. This is where it was. It went through. Everything's nice and clean. No errors, no warnings, no nothing. It got here. It did the part where it said it was going to run the values. It built it, deployed it, and then, surprise, I go back to my function app, and there's all my functions that I had not deployed to this point. This was just an empty function app, and it put them all in there, and now we are fully up and running, ready to move on to the next steps. But there's another possible solution, and I'm gonna mention it. I don't know if I'm gonna go into it right now. Okay, so during my digging around, trying to figure out this last step and figuring out why it's not working, there is I didn't know there was a part to this, but you could actually have Azure build you a workflow file. Now, I didn't know that it could do that. It'll build a workflow file, and then it'll actually put it in GitHub for you. And when it does that, you have a workflow with, now this is a slightly different setup, but let's see if I can see where to put it. I'll show you the workflow it created for me. I actually did it, had it create the workflow, and I just haven't used it to see if it will do the trick. The difference is this one's using this publish profiles, or a publish package. So like if I go here, my workflow is using a publish profile, which is a file that you get from here. You may have seen it on the first page I was on. Get publish profile. This will download the publish profile for you, and then you just take that text, you put it in a secret on GitHub, and then GitHub will use that publish profile when it builds. And that's what I got working, finally. That's what I got working, and that's what I had to turn on the SCM off under the configuration. And everything was fine. I finally got that working, and so I'm ready to move on to the second part, or the next part of Module 6 on my class. But I'm bringing this up because I think it might be interesting, because it might be a way to not to have to do that part. I don't know. I would like to try it, but I'll have to do it later so I can move on. But there is a functionality, and I'm going to see if I can find it here, where you actually get to do trying to find it. System assigned. That's not it. Identity, certificates, networking. And I think I basically just stumbled on this. Oh, maybe it's Deployment Center. Yeah, that's probably it, Deployment Center. I stumbled on this kind of by accident. I was just kind of looking at some stuff, and I'm like, huh, interesting. And then as I was looking at this Deployment Center, I'll show you if it comes up. Okay, so you got manage. Is it this one? All right, so yeah, you connect this GitHub thing, right? So you go to settings. This has all the information, so you can disconnect it, and then you'll have to re-enter it. Signed as this is my GitHub. And the information, the branch, GitHub Actions. But when you do this, it'll actually create a workflow file for you when you do this. If I wonder if I go download publish profile, reset publish. Yeah, I guess it's only when you create this. I thought there was a way to actually have it create it for you. Let's see. Maybe there is a way to do it. Create workflow file within Azure. Nope, this is not it. For GitHub. In Azure, select deployment and the create function app flow. Enable continuous deployment if you want. Enter your GitHub organization, complete your function app. Let's see. All right, well, I'll show you what the thing is. I think you have to actually create it. I thought maybe it would let you do it again. Update a workflow configuration. Doesn't look like it lets you do it again though. But when you do it, when you create the GitHub connection, it'll create the workflow and it'll put it in GitHub for you under workflows, and you can actually go check it out. What it does is it creates this file. I'm going to make sure I'm in the right place. Okay, so if I believe, did it put it here? Okay, so yeah. I didn't know I have. Why is one of these the one? Okay, so yeah. So this is the one created by, I don't know why I have two. I'm not sure I like that I have two of the same name. That throws me off. Come to think of it, before I look, I should probably go look and see which one he used. Because now I'm like, what's going on here? How come I have two of the same name? And that's not so great. So I'm going to go look at this guy. Man, I want to see. Okay, so no, yeah, this one used my workflow file. This is what my workflow file looks like. I can tell because it doesn't have any login information. It just uses this publish profile. The only drawback is I don't like that it's using main AMGZ204-API, because if you see here, my code actually has two of those in here. I don't know why we have two. But that's probably not good. One of them is the one that I think Microsoft created. I didn't realize that it created it with the same name, or that was the default. So I should probably rename this one. But this is the one that has a name that uses client ID, tenant ID, and subscription. Does not use the publish package or the publish file that I created. Or package profile. Yeah, that's what it was. I don't know if this works. Haven't tried it. This is the one that was created and put here by the Microsoft thing. It says this is what you'll use. I don't know if it works. I probably need to change the name of it though, because there's going to be an issue with that at some point. I'm pretty sure. If not for me now, it will be in the future if I try to let this nonsense fly. This is where it usually puts it. Publish profile. Man, this is it's kind of disturbing. Why it looks like that. Yeah. I'm gonna check this one in. How do you even end up with two files of the same name? Is that even allowed? No, there's a difference. Oh, one has a period in it, a space in the period, and that's mine. API space YML. I don't know how to. I don't think you can use both, but mine used this. The success used this. I'm hoping it's just because it's using the first one. I don't know what its particular reasoning is. But period obviously comes later. I don't know if I could even switch between these two. But yeah, so if I go here, mine has a space apparently. Yeah, space YML. How did I end up with a space there? I don't know. I probably created it. It's probably my own bizarrety. I want to move this. I'd like to use it just to try and see what it does, but I don't want to break what I have. I don't know what it'll do. Can I rename this? Okay. We're going to call this one. Anything I put on here is going to make this go to the top, which is probably a problem. But I want to change. I'm afraid if I do this, it's going to move it to the top, and this is going to trigger. Oh, no, it won't trigger it. If it does trigger it, it's going to put it at, it won't be at the top because AZ is behind AP. Okay. So, yeah. I don't know how can I relocate this? Is there a way to move it? I mean, I can move it by taking it out in my code. I'm synchronizing. Let's see what happens. I don't know. I gotta. In theory, if it uses the original one, we're fine. It'll update and we'll be fine. If it doesn't change the workflow file in a negative way, I don't know why. I don't know why I had stuff out of sync, to be honest. I don't much care for the fact that I had two different API versions in here. It did bring that one down though. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here, but let's go ahead and see what it does. See what happens. Go back to the code. It's running because that's what it does. Now, in theory, it should have no trouble running it, because to change anything, unless it's using a different workflow file. Like I said, I'm considering taking this other workflow file and moving it somewhere else just to test this, the new one that the Microsoft one gave me. So this will be 2 ways of doing it. And if I could validate 2 ways quickly, then hey, you know, all the better. The more, the merrier. So this is primarily the work. I don't know which workflow it's going to use. This is what it shows has changed, but it's not really changed. It's the same. I want to see what workflow file it's using. Yeah, it's still using my original one. So this should work simply because I know this file works because it worked before. But I got to take the other one, I got to take this one out in order to give the new one a chance. So I want to see what that one does. And I will try it when this one. And I don't know if the other one will actually work. I don't know what it's set up. And you know, now that I think about it, does that one trigger? Because this one works on upload. All right, so this one actually has check out GitHub action, build, right, download, node app, unzip, log into Azure, upload artifacts for deployment job. So this is like when it'll work. Upload artifact v3. Oh, that's actually the that's actually the one with client ID. Oops. And this one has the upload action as well, because that's part of the whole process here. Upload action. So, okay, so they both have upload action. I don't know. I guess it just depends on which one decides to trigger. That one, of course, worked. So now, well, the only way to be sure is to take it out, right? Move it. Let's move it to resources. I don't think it'll trigger. It has to be in this folder to trigger. I'm not even sure why that. I can only figure that it's not triggering because it's sitting there. You know, it's in alphabetical order and it just produced the first one. All right, so now we only have the one, and we're going to go back over here. And then we're going to go here. We're going to call this workflow. Let's see, Azure portal workflow test. And then once this commits, let's see what happens when I go push. This should trigger another deployment. If this workflow works, I don't know if it'll even work. This is the one created by Microsoft Azure, supposed to work. I have a feeling it's going to have the same security problems as the others because I think I have to create all these tenant things on GitHub. And that's where I had problems getting because I couldn't like create the parts necessary. Like you have to create these secrets because you'll note that on here, if I go to this file, these all say secrets, Azure App Client ID, Tenant ID, whatever, and they're not on this page. They are actually, it's pulling those secrets from, I thought from Azure, but I don't think so. It's actually pulling them from GitHub. So there's a pretty good chance this is going to fail, and probably because there's missing permissions. Oh, see, it didn't even fire it, even so. So I wonder if it has to have that exact name. Because that one didn't even fire. Huh. Interesting. Because although we checked in, let's go see if the check-in at least exists. All right, so we got this. Update, rename 6 minutes ago. Update and rename. Well, that's an update and rename. That's not actually the file either. So whatever it did not trigger the check-in. So let's see what we got here. So it has all the stuff on here. Azure Developer API. And when I create it, it basically maps all this out. So I didn't have to do anything because it does it within the production app. So if this was going to work, I would think it would have worked right now. So I'm not sure. All I can think of is maybe it needs to have the same name. I guess I could try. I mean, why did it say it didn't exist? So I'm even going to have it be the exact same name because I can. All right, let's try it again. We'll add it. You can't complain about the lack of name because it's going to be the exact same name as the other one. I should get Azure Portal workflow test as a valid thing that gets triggered here. So we got a sync. In a minute, it's going to tell me it's done. And then we're going to go and push it. This goes through, resolving, function, signal R, get. So it can't complain about the lack of test now. So we should have. Is it doing anything? I don't see it doing anything. It's supposed to be doing something. I'm not seeing it doing anything. This is just the files. I didn't really do it. It's 9 minutes ago, so we know that's not it. And that's not even the name of my update. So this is not triggering at all. It's not even firing the process. Even though it's using the exact same file name, we have, yeah, so if I go here to my setup resources where I just stored the other one, we got main amgaz204-api.yml. So it's the same one, but it's not firing. So something's weird about this one and the way it's set up. GitHub doesn't know what to do with it. Because GitHub's like, okay, you put a file on the workflow files. Apparently it's not the right one. So taking it as is and putting it up there, not so much. It's not a fan. And this is the one that I was given straight from, this is the file straight from Microsoft. I did not do anything with it. I did not create anything special with it unless Microsoft put it somewhere else. I don't know where else I would have put it. I'm pretty sure it put it right here in the workflows, and that was it. But I don't see any other, unless it did it here. No, that's definitely not it. Okay, well, so I don't know. Yeah, I could probably dig into that some more. It doesn't like this file for some reason. It doesn't trigger it. Probably some random setting that's different, that's not allowing it to trigger. Like maybe there's a conditional, maybe it only works on check. Oh, I did check in. So yeah, I don't know. There's something weird about that one. Let's see if I go, I believe I can put this side by side. And we'll try to connect it to, or look at this one. See what's different, what's significantly different between these two. So this is the Microsoft one on the left, and on the right is mine that works. So we've got the checkout action, we've got setup node version. I am using node version 4 versus 3. I don't think that's gonna be it. But I could be completely off on that fact. I will change it because I feel like we should keep this stuff up to date, because I had errors before about node version 4. So we'll see. And then you come down here, you got the package path, npm install, same old zip artifact stuff. Mine is slightly different. I got name run release.zip. There's no name here, or it just says run, and then it just says pushed release.zip. So it's a little bit different, but you know, should work. Again, we got upload artifact v4 is the current, and the one the Microsoft one has is 3, so we'll take it to 4 just for consistency. Some of the stuff, older stuff, I think it said was actually deprecated. So it's possible, which really just means it's not supported anymore. It doesn't usually mean it doesn't work. This one has a URL to go to the per application. Again, we're looking at downloads, v3 versus 4. We'll take that to 4. And we got log, and then we have function actions. So this one does a login, which is different, but my function actions are down here, and they're both v1. And this one's using package and the package and the slot name, calling it good. So we're going to hit Control S on that puppy. Really, that's all I did. I just changed the version numbers of the objects to see if maybe that will have an effect. Just give it a chance, you know, before I totally say, you know what, I'm not going to worry about it no more, because I don't really want to worry about it anymore. I'm ready to move on to the next part of this class so I can finish it up now that I've resolved this problem. And again, I did not stream the hours I spent trying to figure that out, because why? I mean, you don't want to see the constant failing. Granted, when I'm doing the class stuff here online, if things are moving along, there shouldn't be too much of that bouncing around all over the place. But when things aren't moving along, it just becomes white noise, right? Okay, so I did Azure commit 3 insertions. All right, so we did the commit and the add, and now we need to do the push. So now we do the push for synchronization. Hopefully we get everything going. This time, maybe, with any luck, it'll actually trigger. We'll see. If I go here, it should say, yeah, see, it's not actually triggering. I don't know why. And oftentimes, if it doesn't trigger, it's the check-in never happened. It never even got a successful check-in, which is weird, because it is showing that it's checked in. It's like maybe it's not compiling, or there's missing values, like it doesn't know what to do with these missing secrets, which aren't actually set up. I don't know. And like this, I don't even know what URL steps.deploy to web app.outputs web URL. There is no steps up here, so I don't know where it's getting that value or how it's built, but ultimately it looks like only mine works. If someone comes along and can tell me how the one generated by Microsoft functions, I'd be glad to know. But I'm ready to move on. I got it working. I got it working with the published profile. I think this is what they kind of wanted you to get it to work with. I mean, according to Microsoft Learn. But as you can see, nothing's triggering here. And that means I probably have to set up these. And when I was trying to get a client ID, tenant ID set up, it wouldn't let me. It said you can't do this because you're not, you're not paying money. You're using the free accounts, and we don't let you do stuff for free. But yeah, I don't know the solution here. I would like to get it to work. I wanted it to at least trigger and see what happens. I would have thought it would have done something. But usually that's as a result of something's not compiling, or I can't read the document, but there's no errors here to say what or why or what happened. I mean, what blew up on this setup that didn't allow it to work. I'm going to go back into my one that did work. I'm going to look at this quickly. I want to see if the workflow file is different. Is it using my... Yeah, see, it's not... So if I try to rerun it, it's just going to use this published profile. So I don't know how... And since there was no later check-in... it's really weird, though, because it did check in all changes. I mean, I can go to my workflow, go here, and this will show all the fours. See, V4, 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 where I updated all those. So we are working with the latest versions of those things, but for some reason this file does not want to trigger. Now, when I updated the other one, it did, interestingly enough, it did trigger. I'm gonna, I don't know what's gonna matter here, but I'm gonna try something here. Just to see if anything happens. I don't know. I don't think it will. Maybe because I had a usually duplicate file name shouldn't matter, because I think I have multiple N files in here, and so that shouldn't have an effect. But it was just shot in the dark. If I go here, if it is working, this will show building, and you can see it does not. So it must look at the workflow file and then choke on something, and it's not telling me what that something is. But it doesn't like it. So yeah, I don't know. If I go here and then move, I'm taking this out. I'm going to put it over. I'm going to put it on resources if I can find the resources. Source, settings, solution, server. Oh, there it is. Okay, so go here. Move it there. No. Oh, I should probably do this first. So this is just gonna put the period back, I thought. Because oh, maybe I took it out and not put it back. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Something weird it does not like, and it doesn't want to respond to that workflow file. Unless there's a way to tell it. Well, no, because I even gave it the same name. So that even if I had to change the name of the workflow file somewhere, I should have been able to get that to fire just on the fact that it was the exact same name. But whatever is supposed to trigger it is either not triggering it, or it's just failing on the attempt So I'm kind of stumped. I don't know what's going on. Because it's not saying there's no errors. There's nothing wrong that it's telling me necessarily. Um, Again, I don't even know what this steps is. Right. Secrets, I've seen a couple set examples that showed these secrets had to be stored in GitHub, but you can see they're not actually here, so I can't really get them and see them and put them in GitHub. So I thought maybe it was going to go pull it, and it would pull it from Azure. So, it would use these, go connect to Azure and get that information. Doesn't seem to be doing that. So yeah, I'm just going to have to call it. Because I'm ready to move on. I've got this working already, so AZ version. And then I'm going to move this over to here just to have it. I want to keep it for reference, but I don't want it in my workflows folder. Because I don't trust it. So, having stuff in there that's not great. That you haven't been able to prove works is just best to reset flow post AZ version fail. Now, if this does what it's supposed to, when I go back to GitHub, this will be showing as processing, building, doing whatever. And that's assuming everything's all hunky-dory again after all that. Okay, so something's not right, because right now things are not updating at all. I'm not getting any of my new updates in here. I mean, I changed stuff, but I'm not getting any file. What the heck? I didn't do anything. Why is this no longer triggering? Alright, so this is here. I didn't do anything to you, so why are you not working? Huh. What the heck is going on, man? Go here. Now we're gonna say restore. Alrighty. I'm not it's not triggering my build anymore. You know, aha. Azure put that stuff in. Wow, okay. These things I did not put here. Azure put these in when I created the workflow, apparently, and which is great, except it's not working. I can't trigger my things anymore. I mean, I have my publish profile here, so my publish profile should work as well, and it did. It worked, you know, when I first came back, but so these secrets do exist and they are in there, but for some reason my GitHub is no longer triggering my changes. Well, that one, yeah, okay, so now it's triggering, but it went back to using my published profile. So something weird's going on. Maybe it's because I wasn't changing file names. I mean, changing file names maybe don't trigger it. Maybe you actually have to change the code. Something has to change in code, and maybe I didn't do that. Because here I just put on, you know, a comment. And it didn't want to fire. And when it did fire before, when I first put the file up, yeah, it's possible that Git did not see any file data change, which is weird. But it's possible. So now I'm tempted to try again. Because I'm going to try to reposition the files. Except I did change that one. I changed all the version 4. So there is something going on here where my file triggers the workflow action, but this one does not. Even if I change the name of the other one to match this, it's not triggering the file to work. So that's a little bit of a thing. Okay, well, shoot. I mean, I want to start my next module, but I have to. My wife has a desire to go play pickleball this afternoon. I know, you should be working, Ken. You're not. You need to get this done. Well, yes, I do. And, yeah, I got to run to Costco. I want to do it before she gets home, so I should probably do it. Yeah, got a couple things I got to pick up there, small things, but, which means she's going to be back soon, and I should probably be back by then. I will probably come back to, it's Wednesday. If I'm going to get Module 6 done this week. All right, let's go see what Module 6 has in store for me while this runs. So we're going to go back here. I did complete this, so I can mark this as completed. Yay, me. Go to next item. This is going to ask me if I actually did it, and I will say, yes, sir, I did. Finally, it took me forever to get it working. I didn't work it exactly like they did because I couldn't get theirs to work, but it is cool that it put it in those secrets for me. Why it doesn't want to fire, I don't know. But, all right, so I have this. There's only one more piece to this first part. There's only 2 parts in 6, so it's this one and this one. If I go here, you can see it's not even as long. I'm going to video, exercise, blah, 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 video, exercise, project quiz, end. Okay, so we got 2 little exercises to do in the next one. One is create a new API in something management from a function app, and then I don't know what that says, in something API. I don't know what that is. X API? I don't know what that is. Create a new API in X API management from a function app. Create an API in API management from a function app. To prevent Azure functions to present Azure functions to users as part of a single API, you can add them to Azure API management. In your online store company, your developers have created multiple Azure functions as microservices. Your developers have created multiple Azure functions as microservices. Each function implements a small part of the store's functionality. You will want to assemble these functions into a single API. In this exercise, you will create a new API management instance. That's kind of cool. All right. That's kind of key right there because, you know, APIs are the thing these days. And then this one is add another Azure Functions app to an existing API. So we're just going to add one in. And then a couple of quick reads, test, and that's it. So quizzes, knowledge check, the end. And then the last thing is going to be Module 7, which is the test. So if I go back to home here, and then I go to Module 7, all this is Course 1 recap about the practice exam, course practice exam, course summary, course wrap-up, congratulations, reflect on learning, and next steps. So that's it. There's just a practice exam on this. So I have 2 module bits to do. There's no more exercises on 6. I am just kind of wrapping things up. Use a storage account to host. Oh, wait, what? Oh, there is another exercise. A storage account to host a static website. Huh. Well, that's easy enough. I'll do that one. But anyway, I have that exercise. So there's basically 3 exercises left. This one, and this one. And I'm going to stop now. I just wanted to show you how I fixed, how I got this to work. I would like to see the other one work. Maybe I'll play with that a little bit in between, and I'll show you if I can get it going. That's kind of weird, huh? Look, failed to deploy production. But here we go. Reset workflow post AZ version fail. Okay, wait. One worked, one didn't. That's weird. Okay, wait a minute. My latest one did not work. Because look, if I go look here and I go Azure Portal Workflow Test, and this is the one that says reset workflow post AZ version fail. Okay, so this is the last one I did. And is that the one that just worked? Reset workflow. Okay, so that's the one that worked. But interestingly enough, why did this one fire? Restore working workflow. Restore working workflow? When did I... Are some things just happening really slow? Maybe I just need to wait longer. When did I do restore working workflow? Oh, wait, restore working workflow was the one I checked in up here. Because I didn't use the Git. So how come that one failed? Probably because I ran them too close together. This one hadn't ran yet. So if I go here, view logs, that one just ran no problem. Let's just see what the workflow file it used was. Yeah, this is my published profile. It's the one that works. Okay, so this one worked. I don't know what the heck happened with the other one, but ultimately this is the one that we want. We know functions. It's the one that gets me through the steps in the class. I am curious about that other one still. I'd like to see the other workflow function because it's the one that AZ provides. And it's a second way to do this. You can use your published profiles like I did. Or maybe if that one functions and I can get it to do its job, we can prove that we can actually run the using permissions in the tenant and subscription ID on a free service, on the free Azure, which I can't seem to prove at the moment. Fingers crossed, I'll be able to do that later. I'll try to work with it. If I can figure it out, I will come back and I will let you know. But ultimately, I don't know why what this one's problem was. Does this one even have a log? It does. Let's see what it says. So I'm going to go app settings, gun deployment, retry, blah, blah, blah. It just blew up a bunch of times. I think this one's just because I ran it too close to the other one. It's probably the same file. Yeah. Same thing. I think it just somehow overlapped. I probably should, when I do a check-in, I should probably give it some time. Maybe there's a delay in firing, like it can't fire too close together or something. So I'm going to run out. I will let you know if I can get the other one working. If I do, I will post another video and let you know how I did it. Really not much to it. It's just getting it going and running it and proving that it works. And then, yeah, and then maybe I'll even do a walkthrough. I'll do an example. All right. Until the next time, which hopefully will be this afternoon, maybe. We'll see. I'll